Hey guys, and welcome back. This is part 2 of episode 2. Now we're gonna begin with me showing some gear tweaking. Ideally my main goal right now before I head into the sewers is to try to get maximum fire resist and maximum poison resist. Once you get those two down, it gets pretty easy, I guess. It's still pretty hard, the jump from Act 1 to Act 2 sewers, especially on players 8. They just have so much HP and it's really a pain to deal with. But the XP down there is amazing. You'll see me get quite a few levels just from running it once. Usually when I play, I stay down in the sewers until around level 40 actually, just because it's so fast and it gets quite easy in the later levels. In terms of what items to MO, I usually just pick whatever at this stage. It doesn't really matter. Everything is going to get replaced anyway. It's not like I'm going to keep any of this stuff. And of course when you up tier an item or your mystic orb, they disappear, including double MO effect, because what the up tier recipe essentially does is it gives you a completely new item. It doesn't upgrade anything really, it just destroys your old item and gives you a new one. So it's the same with the unique quality upgrade recipe and all the upgrade recipes out there. They destroy your current item and generate a new one. Right. Sorry. Right, so down here, you really want to watch out for the two enemies that are the most dangerous, for the most part, is these dogs, the elite packs, and also the sewer trolls, just because they have so much HP. But you can see them, getting frozen because of the Rune of Ice. It's really good. And surprisingly enough, my mercenary is still alive. I thought she would be dead by now, but she's doing quite well with no items. So go her. But she's still stealing the corpses, little bitch. But yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about our innate necromancer skill, Burning Veil. Is of course, a great little buff. It's not so good early on because it doesn't last very long, but later on it lasts around like 50 seconds or so. So it's quite useful. And the way I see it, on any character that you decide to make, always try to figure out which buffs are available to you. For example, assassins get Bloodlust for free from their claws. Any rare claw will give you Bloodlust, assuming the FX level is high enough. And barbarians get Mark of the Wild from their weapons. Druids of course get Mark of the Wild as well as an innate skill. So yeah, class advantage doesn't necessarily just come from the skills alone, but it comes from the class, weapons and items as well. The O skills that you can possibly get on them is always an advantage. For Necromancer, it's quite easy for us to get Bloodlust and Burning Veil, and of course it helps damage and it helps casters as well. I'm just keeping up with my MOs at the moment because I noticed I wasn't doing all that much damage, so I updated my gear a little bit more. When you're in areas like this where you're kind of getting overwhelmed and there's quite a lot of them, it's a good idea to put your back to a wall or try to manipulate choke points, especially since we have Flametail Shot and Buckshot, which stuns enemies. So you'll see a few examples of me using the choke points down here to my advantage, where I just stun a pack, and then the rest of the enemies behind them can't actually get to me because the ones in front are blocking the ones behind. and then it's very easy for me to just frag shot the ones behind and clear out the area without getting hurt. Like for here, for example, you can see that they can't actually get through here, and of course I just frag shot everything and they die. And you can see how much damage they do as well. My life goes down pretty quickly against these guys if I try to base tank them. But like I said earlier, use choke points, they'll help a lot. Over here I'm going to try to use, I'm still not too happy with the amount of damage I'm doing, so I'm putting a lot of stats into strength right now to try and I don't know, get a little bit of extra damage, because of course crossbows are strength based weapons. Here I summon a couple of totems to try to use Bane, but really it's minus 10 enemy physical resist right now, so it's not going to do much. But on the topic of Bane, it's one of the big advantages that Necromancer has as a weapon damage class dealer over the other classes, because of course it breaks physical immunities and is one of the only skills or methods in the game that will lower enemies' physical resists. So it synergizes really well. Of course, we have a lot of skills like Famine and Howling Totem, which are all physical based skills, which is, you know, great for us. So always think about things like that when you're playing. Like, why am I playing this class? Like, what advantage does my class have over the rest? So it could come in the form of, you know, innate skills like Burning Veil or Mark of the Wild, or it can come from you know, like skill trees and stuff as well. And of course, if you're playing something like Amazon, something like Lioness isn't much of an advantage if you're playing a Boson, because that's the way devotion skills work. So I tend to not like Amazon so much because I feel really constricted by the devotion skills. But we don't have that as a Necromancer, of course. We're free to use anything we like, really, as long as we don't pick up Deathlord, because that forces us to use melee skills only, and we don't want that as a crossbow Necromancer. You see my mercenary here doing a fair bit of damage. I put some gear on her, just stuff that I picked up off the ground, and down goes Radamant. You might have noticed that in this video I'm using quite a lot of classical songs. Usually I have some sort of theme running through most of my songs. But yeah. Here, as I've jumped forward a little bit, so the only new item I've got is that honorific glove and a little bit of extra life steal. Everything else stayed the same basically. I've emoed the weapon a little bit, but that's about it. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to be showing how I get arcane crystals at this stage in the game. Earlier I mentioned that Endariel is a good place, but this place is even better. Basically the Valley of Snakes, Claw Viper Temple. You can get the amulet and staff now from the same area, and you can disenchant those into 2 arcane shards, which is what I'm trying to do now. So obviously that's better than Endariel's 1 arcane shard per kill. Of course you can argue that you can find 1 or 2 uniques on your way to Endariel, but you can apply the same mentality here obviously if you're killing stuff like there. I just got another warbow there as well, so that's another unique. That's 3 uniques in 1 run. Keep in mind that this method only works if you don't finish this quest. Once you finish it, the staff and amulet will no longer drop, making it void. But later on, the most efficient way is to get a few levels and get as much MF as possible and run normal Tranathula for arcane crystals. I'll show that later. You can get quite a lot of uniques in just 1 run with that method. Of course, just repeating it a couple of times. My opinion so far of the crossbow Nekura is actually quite a good one. Actually, the AOE is a bit small for my liking, but the damage output is very high. Considering I'm using hardly any gear right now. You know, I barely have any. Well, actually, I don't have any tier ups at all. I'm planning on getting them soon. That's the purpose of these runs, to try to get some arcane crystals. But I'm planning on getting the tier up chainmail, and of course the heavy belt deadfall, which is great on pretty much any weapon damage character. But yeah, that's it for this part, really. There's one more run here, I think. Notice that I'm trying my best not to really kill enemies on my way there. I only really kill them if they get in the way, because I want to keep the XP gain to the minimum, so I can get more arcane crystals before hitting level 50 to do level challenge 1, which is of course going into Train Athula. And there's another 2 arcane crystals. But yeah, that's it for episode 2, really. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be endeavoring to try to release videos pretty often, I guess, at least until I get to Destruction. So thanks for watching.